mean, you had your chance and then you blew it.
That is the most absurd statement of the year.
Nice. Nice.
Oh, baby.
I'm in my zone, I'm feeling it.
Live from West St. Paul Studios, it's time for MinneZona Sports Live with DJ Matty C and Paul the Shield Vold.
And this is MinneZona Sports Live. We are back, yes. Episode 254, yes. 254 episodes of MinneZona Sports Live. Yes, we're doing well. We're doing quite well. And speaking of that, I'm your host, DJ Matty C, a.k.a. Matt Callahan, a.k.a. Callie, a.k.a. Matty C, etc., etc., etc. And all the way in, I almost said Granite Falls. Why was I thinking that? I don't know why. And Lucas, as Lucas likes to say, we back, baby. That's right. Without further ado, live from Granite City Studios in St. Cloud, Minnesota, Paul Volta Shield. What's going on there, Shield?
It is the absolute probably best time of year right now, if you couldn't judge, of course, by my attire. We got playoff baseball going on right now. And we wish our Twins were certainly in the playoff baseball running. Yeah. But you know what? Good things come to those who wait, I guess. And Twins have been waiting a long, long time. I shouldn't say Twins. The Twins fans have been waiting a long, long time. Because, hadn't been good. Has not been good, to say the least.
Well, more on that in a second. So that's perfect timing. We were off last week, and I need to fix my hat here. We were off this past week, but there's a lot that we need to talk about tonight. We have so many things, like you said, with the Twins. Baldelli, Rocco has gotten the axe. We will discuss that. I have some thoughts on that, and especially how the season ended and such. And Voldy, we got to take a look here before we get going. We got to look at that Pick'em leaderboard. Why the heck not, you know? So this is what we got, all right? Our Pick'em leaderboard. Who is leading? And Tate joins the fold, yes. We are... Look at him. He's just chilling like a villain. It's great.
Cheers.
Cheers. Ah, very nice. So, starting off, we have Stuffage leading the way with 470 points. He has 47 wins, 16 losses, and that's the top guy. But just behind him is the guy sitting in Granite City Studios live, Paul Vold, the Shield, yes. He is in second. He is tied for second with my cousin, Jason Schmitz. Yes. He picked the Steelers to win. More on that in a little bit as well. And Corey Jensen. Hey, look, it's a Rick's brother. He is tied with you as well. So this is just a reminder. Get those picks in. Get them in as soon as possible and whatnot. So tonight, Voldy, we got a lot to talk about. Those Minnesota Twins. The Minnesota Vikings go to Dublin and do not get the luck of the Irish. They lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Got some thoughts on that, hence why there is no special segment tonight. But we do have to talk about Napheesacollier calling out the WNBA. Before we even talk about that, I gotta give her claps. She's been saying stuff that we've been saying since last year and whatnot, and I'm glad she said what she said. Well, we will talk about that. I have a lot of thoughts about that. And Voldy, get out that pocketbook because Kirill the Thrill signs an 8-year extension. Let's
Yes, sir.
go. We are stoked about that. Kirill the Thrill is back with us for 8 more years. We'll talk about that. Billy G, the whole deal. No special segment, but we do have ARA tonight. We've got some new jerseys that we got to look at. Well, not new, but technically jerseys that have been upgraded, per se, and been put into this season's wardrobe for both the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Wild. So, we got that going for us. And we got the U.S. Unable to win in the Ryder Cup against Team Europe. No shock there. Yes, cue the boos. Yep. Don't like that. I don't think Tate likes it either. The Browns bench Joeflacco ahead of the game in London versus our Minnesota Vikings. Is Shedeur destined to start here in a little bit? We shall see. And then to round things off for ARA, the Tampabayrays have sold. Oh, that must feel nice to finally get rid of bad ownership and everything like that. Must feel good. New stadium incoming. We'll talk about that as well.
Maybe.
And then to round things off, we will have shield shoutouts as per usual. So, I think Tate's ready. I'm ready. Voldy's ready. Let's get it going with some Tater Tot Hot Take.
Fresh out of the oven, it's Tater Tot Hot Take.
All right, it is time for some Tater Tot Hot Take. The Minnesota Twins, what's the best word to describe it? Well, let's think about it this way. A train wreck, a dumpster fire, add some more for me, zoners. Feel free to in the comments. The Twins finished with a record of 70 and 92, 95, whatever it was. Not a good record, obviously. This whole season has been nothing short of controversial, disappointing, and all of the above. So, but after the season, the Twins put out a press release saying that roccobaldelli will not return to the team next year, and I'm doing this because for a managerial standpoint and everything like that, but I am giving claps. I'll explain in a little bit, but we're going to have a lot to talk about tonight about this and other things as well. So, roccobaldelli out after 7 seasons with the Minnesota Twins. A really terrible season. I mean, the record isn't as bad as like some other teams, but it's bad.
Right.
I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So, Voldy, kind of a two-parter. What are your thoughts overall on the season, and what are your thoughts in regards to roccobaldelli being let go? What do you got?
Well, as the season as a whole, I mean, there was just so much expectation maybe coming into the year of being able to compete and contend. We got some looks at some younger guys coming out into the rotation. How are they going to, make that leap forward for the Twins in the starting rotation? And it just fell to the wayside. Injuries started to mount up, inconsistencies at the plate for Carlos Correa. Basically, the entire starting infield, minus Royce Lewis when he was healthy. Byron Buxton as well, when healthy, was an effective player. I mean, set career highs in a couple of offensive categories and in stolen bases this year for him, but not to the full level of potential that he should be at MVP type caliber player. But there was just so many missed opportunities, injuries mounted up, and then just as soon as the trade deadline came around, it just all fell apart, and the Twins basically gave up from that point.
Well, I think it kind of comes down to a couple things, and one of those things I think is the mismanagement of the whole roster. It seemed like there wasn't really a whole lot of leadership within this organization, and it showed. I mean, it showed from the get-go, too. I mean, the horrific start. The White Sox, they played against the White Sox, and they played awful. They played worse than a team that's not supposed to be doing anything this past year, and quite frankly, the White Sox have been better this season. And this was even before they traded Correa, they traded, whoever else. But I kind of look at it from this perspective. I don't necessarily want to blame everyone within that organization because there is a lot to be discussed when it comes to this whole situation. And before I get into the whole Rocco stuff and whatnot, I do want to say something that I feel like some people have kind of alluded to on the social medias and things like that. And I want it to be clear to people that the people that work for the Minnesota Twins, and it's not ownership and front office people or whatnot, it's the people that are there for the game days. Especially, showing people around, getting tickets, the vendors that are there, and people helping out during the game. That is who I want to shout out. They have tried to make this whole situation with what's going on with ownership, what's going on with the team in general, and they were trying to make the best out of this situation. Now, I feel bad because not a lot of fans have gone out to games and stuff because they do work hard at what they try to do to get people to come to games and actually want to go to the ballpark and whatnot. But there is a big issue with the ownership, front office, and everything around. So I don't want to blame those people who work hard. I actually know a couple people who work for the Minnesota Twins that are good people and have done a fantastic job at trying to give the fans the best experience that they can. And it has gone from, a good experience to, why am I wasting my money on these idiotic owners and front office people that think that this is okay to do when your team's not competitive and when you promised to get rid of, to sell the team, and you went back on your word. So I want to shout out those people especially, and those people have done a fantastic job at trying to give that experience to, the younger fans and, just anybody in general too. They don't deserve this type of treatment from ownership. And I'm sure, they treat them right and everything like that. They're very nice. But the fact of the matter is that the ownership and the front office people should be ashamed of themselves. Because these people come in day to day, they work their ass off, and then they can't put a good product out on the field. That is on them. That's on Falvey. That is especially on Roccobaldelli and ownership. But everyone outside of that tries to give that good fan experience, they are not to be blamed. They're working under idiotic ownership. It's that simple. So, we just want to shout them out here and give claps to them for dealing with this. And if you get fans getting mad at them and stuff like that, you're blaming the wrong people. It's the higher ups you got to talk to. So, in terms of Roccobaldelli, Voldy, I'll put it like this. I have been very critical of Roccobaldelli on this show. Obviously, you've seen the clips. You guys know the whole deal when it comes to Roccobaldelli. I'll make this, very simple. They should have listened to me 3 years ago because this man, and again, I have no ill will towards the guy. I really, I'm sure he's going to find a coaching job somewhere, but he got into his mind about this is how we're going to play baseball. This is how This is the sabermetrics, the analytics, and everything like that. We're gonna, get involved with that. And guess what? It failed miserably. Taking out pitchers too early. Players getting on his case. This past year, Griffin Jacks. I mean, you guys know the Barrios deal. You know the Sonny Gray ordeal as well. Look, these team-only meetings and, things like that, they always have to happen. And, these guys that need to get put on the right track. But Rocco, and I'm not blaming Rocco for the whole ordeal this second half of the season, because honestly, you could put Voldy, myself, or you in that position, they'd still be the same.
Probably,
they'd still be the same team. I mean, you can't do them with much. You can't do. They lost all their bullpen, for goodness sake. So that's not on Rocco. That's on Falvey and the Pohlads. So I don't blame Rocco for that. It's like, well, they're using him as a scapegoat. Yeah, he is technically the scapegoat, but I know that he contributed to this this poor management style, and he didn't do a good job of it. I mean, guys challenged him, but he's like, we got to stick to our way. This is how we do it and everything like that, and that's why this was the end of Roccobaldelli, is because he couldn't get out of his own way. And they should have done it 3 years earlier, but this is the current situation that the Twins are in. So I don't need to go even more into the Pohlad whole ordeal, because we've talked about it numerous times. They're a bunch of idiots. They are. And we don't need to go over why and everything like that. Let's look towards the future, and Voldy, I want us to do something a little bit different tonight. Now that Roccobaldelli's out, let's throw some names out there as possible managers. I looked at some of these lists. I've heard some things. I think a lot of Twins fans are kind of hoping this happens, but let's be honest, the Pohlads probably will get another yes man and go from there. But let's throw a couple names out there. Voldy, from your perspective, is there anyone that you're kind of eyeing right now that you would like to see the Twins go and get to be their manager? What do you got?
Well, the first person that I thought of, and a few people have asked me also, I would definitely say my top candidate and someone that has had success as a manager is Derek Shelton. Was the bench coach here for the Twins a number of years back, even when they were well performing during those Bomba Squad days too. He was a part of that. He was the bench coach. He was under Roccobaldelli, but as soon as he left, things really started to take a bit of a turn for the Twins and slowly but surely lost their way. He ended up taking the job in Pittsburgh. First couple of years there, had a little bit of noise, but the ownership, very similar to the Twins, didn't want to go out and shell out the big bucks for the, for making the moves to maybe make a postseason run, or at least maybe eye towards the postseason. And the fan base has long suffered. Stop me if you've heard this before. Now just the NL version of the situation that we're at. But I would definitely throw my hat in the ring for Derek Shelton for sure. Has had his way at the major league level, has that experience as a manager, familiarity for some of the longer veteran players on the Twins that have seen him over a handful of years. I'm going to plant my flag here for Derek Shelton to be the new bench boss here for next season.
I like it. Honestly, it's going to be tough to deal with, Falvey and kind of with ownership on certain decisions. So I think that's going to be a factor in this as well. I kind of am leaning towards energizing the fan base here. And I think something along the lines of, and again, we've seen this before about former players or getting into managing, and some work out, some don't. But one name that I keep seeing, and, I think this would be good, but I think Torrey Hunter has had some grievances against the Pohlads as well. Torrey Hunter, obviously, would be one to keep in mind. It seems to me that there would have to be a lot of things that would have to happen in order to get Torrey Hunter to manage this baseball team. But,
Right.
I mean, just think of how many people will be excited that Torrey is going to be the manager. And that kind of refuels some people going to those games. It's like, oh, I want to see what Torrey does with this team. Yeah, of course, I get it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, we all know it all stands in the way with those damn poll ads and Felvey. So, I think that would kind of be my thing, because not only do you get a well-known guy and people love him here and whatnot, but you put butts in seats. And that's what they're lacking right now. If the Twins want to get more people to go to games, this is one way to do it, by getting a former player. Let me ask you this one, Voldy, and I'm curious what your thoughts on this too. And another former player, a guy who's in the TV booth from time to time, that being Justin Morneau. Voldy, what do you think of Justin Morneau as a potential manager for the Twins?
That would be a very interesting selection, just based off of, how close he is with the team currently. Like you said, he's in the TV booth. He's been doing it for a number of years. Still, there on the field as well, spring training time, helping out on some of the backfields and everything. I would definitely find that very interesting. No major league experience, at least managing, but there have been a few guys in recent years that have come basically straight off the field to becoming a major league manager. And there's been some mixed results, but mostly overall, as long as you surround yourself with the right coaching staff and you're the one that does most of your managing of the managing, if you will, you could definitely find your way around and definitely be successful for sure. I would be all for it. More Justin Morneau, the better in my mind.
So keep that name in mind as well, Zoners. Toby Gardenhire, I feel like would be maybe kind of like a full circle moment. Just because bringing another Gardenhire around would be interesting and whatnot. I just don't know.
It'd be the only way he'd make the Twins. He could never crack the Twins lineup when he was
right. So, I think he's had a lot of success with the
Saints,
with the AAA squad and with the Aints or Saints, I should say. I gotta be respectful to the St. Paul Saints, not the New Orleans Saints. Anyway, another guy that I'm looking at this list here, Voldy, a guy that was under Terry Francona as the bench coach, Brad Mills. What do you think of him?
Brad Mills, he was the manager. I think he was in Cleveland for a number of years previously. But that would be a very interesting selection. So, he definitely has the experience on the veteran side of things, too. I wouldn't be against it.
Don't see why not. I mean, see what you can get for that. So, so those are a couple names. Zoners, let us know what you guys think, too. Throw some names out there. There's like Nelson Cruz, which Nelly would be a great one, I think. But if you want to energize the fan base, that's the one way to do it. But I got a feeling it's going to be some guy that we have no clue who he is. And we're just going to, So, but anyway, it's fun to kind of speculate. All right. Now, from the Minnesota Twins, let's go over to those Minnesota Vikings. Yes, they played in Dublin. No luck of the Irish, unfortunately, for our Minnesota Vikings. They lose 24-21. Let's put it like this, Foldy. It wasn't a good start, and it was one of those. We got some. Before we get into this, I just got a interesting comment here. A good old friend of ours, Alex, our good old friend of ours, and. I am not happy with this profile pic. Voldy, look at this profile pic. Who is that?
Okay.
Do you see who that is?
That's Sean Payton.
Why?
Ew.
Why? Why are you doing this to me, Alex? Good Lord. He says Kirill the Thrill overpaid and ruined the market.
Did he though?
Did he though? we'll get to that in a little bit.
We'll talk about
We'll get
that,
to
yeah.
you in a second, Alex. It's good to see you, by the way, though, to be honest with you. But that comment we don't like. Anyway, let's get to these Vikings. Not a good start. Jordan Mason had that fumble. Luckily, he was out of bounds and didn't have great. He got lucky, and the Vikings just really struggled, not trying to turn over the ball. And Carson Wentz had a couple tip passes, not completely all his fault, and whatnot. Vikings made a little bit of a surge in the fourth quarter, almost stole that game right from the Steelers.
That they almost did.
Yeah, a lot of injuries. But Voldy, what are your thoughts here on the game in Dublin? Obviously, not the outcome we wanted, but they got to get it fixed. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, unfortunately, injuries really mounting up early in that contest. When you lose Brian O'Neill, you almost felt like the Vikings lost all of their momentum and just all sense of, trying to win the game. You lose one of your best offensive linemen, and you just feel like, all right, well, I guess we're looking forward to next week and just hope that we can make it close. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You got to play the whole game. Being down 14-6 at halftime, it could have been much different in that first half for sure. Missed field goal opportunity, a couple of things that just didn't go the Vikings' way. Justin Jefferson slipping on that wide open pass that for sure should have been a touchdown for him. Would have definitely put them in a different situation. And then just overall, the offensive line just being a patchwork group at that point and leading up to 6 sacks of Carson Wentz, unfortunately. He throws the ball away a couple of times. That doesn't help. You can't turn over the football, and you can't let your offensive line sack the quarterback. That's what kind of put things out of reach for the Vikings there. But, it was good to see Jordan Addison get into the mix. Couple of nice long plays for him. Should have had that touchdown as well, getting chased down by a linebacker, getting over 100 yards receiving, him and Jay Jettas too. But, just unfortunate because of the fact that it's Aaron Rodgers also, and he kind of sliced this up. Of course, DK Metcalf gets that big touchdown too. But, those interceptions and just not being able to, limit those turnovers. And, they had a heck of a run at the end. Just wish they could have done it sooner. Would have made a big difference overall. But, unfortunately, it did not go our way on Sunday.
No, it did not. I look at it from this perspective. They did not, they just seemed very hesitant, I feel like, at times. I also think with the injuries that happened, like Brian O'Neill going down, I think definitely hurt them. But Ryan Kelly having his second concussion already, not a good sign. Juergens is a second-year player, and he has been a complete, utter disaster in the interior. He got absolutely worked by their defensive line when he came into the game. And it got to a point where it was like, are we going to, are we going to figure this out and, make sure this Nick, it was somebody else, I think. It was like 95. Yeah, Keanu Benton. Some dude I've never heard of is getting 1.5 sacks. Nick Herbig 1.5 sacks. TJ Watt had one, but it wasn't like. Yeah. It really,
and he had the interception too.
He had that interception, which was cool. I'll give him that. Patrick Queen, Deshaun Elliott also had a sack. But again, it comes down to winning at the line of scrimmage. And the Vikings didn't do that. They absolutely did not do that. And it just went south quickly. And I just think that if the Vikings had all of their offense, if there weren't any of those injuries, we would have smoked these fools. I believe that because we had guys literally running free the whole time. And I blame a little of that on Wentz because Wentz is, is holding on the ball too long and whatnot. But again, it comes down to us being able to protect, giving our quarterback enough time to make those reads. Now, I think Wentz played a lot better in the second half when we got to the fourth quarter. I thought he was very effective. Xavier Scott, what a player he's been so far. He's caught that touchdown pass, he had six receptions. I didn't realize that. 43 yards on the touchdown.
Got his first touchdown.
So we'll take that. A little toe tap, which was pretty sweet. Jalen Naylor also had that touchdown, which was nice. So a lot of this comes down to whether or not the Vikings are going to make any changes or anything like that. But the thing is, they can't. They're in London. You can't just sign a guy and be like, all right, take the flight over to London. You got to play with what you have. So I think Juergens didn't practice today, so that's not a good sign. But it seems like they're going to try to ramp him up because I think the guy after him is like Joe Huber. I've never heard of him before, so
right.
That's not a good sign. So, it was disappointing, and Rodgers. Here's the thing: the guy was throwing 2-yard, 3-yard passes besides the DK Metcalf throw, which was actually pretty good. I mean, his QBR was only 39. I mean, it wasn't that good. He's throwing these dink and dunk passes, and I think after the game he was saying, it felt good to get one out over these guys. You haven't done anything. All you've done is just thrown one passing touchdown. You take away that and bad defensive line play in the run game, we're smoking these fools. So, I think it's going to be a tough one here up against the Browns. I mean, I don't care who's quarterback. We're going to talk about that tonight with Joe Flacco, sheduersanders, and Dillongabriel. That whole ordeal. We'll get to that in a little bit. But let's go to Alex, as he says here. The Vikings need a veteran QB, knows the system, has a connection with J.J. Addison Hawkinson, Kirk Cousins. Well, here's the issue with that.
Oh my God, Kirko, chill.
I'd like to have Kirko back. It would be great. I mean, me and Voldy would love that. But
be something.
It's the contract. That's the problem. The Falcons want to be like, oh, you got to take on all of his contract. No, I'm not doing that. Hell no. Mm-hmm. So I'd love Kirko Chains back. I've been, I'm very pro Kirko Chains, but that contract really isn't something we want on the Vikings plate.
Yeah.
So we got to wait for McCarthy's to be healthy and whatnot, and go from there. All right, let's quick look ahead here to the game against the Browns. So the Browns,
keep on Browning.
Making the quarter. Yeah, they're doing the Brown stuff. They got killed against Detroit. Voldy, I'm a little concerned because, well, maybe not as much now because he didn't practice today. Myles Garrett, I think, scares the hell out of me because our offensive line right now is ripe for the picking for that D line with the Cleveland, and Cleveland's defense is good. Voldy, what do you think of this game here in London against the Browns? What do you got?
I mean, you would think being acclimated with your surroundings a little bit would be helpful, especially if you're the Vikings. You've already been over there for a week plus now at this point. You're adjusted to the time zone with the travel and everything, so you think that would be good. But then you realize a team that is as desperate as the Browns are at this point, they really don't have anything to lose. They're going to be coming in with a different quarterback. They've got some playmakers on both sides of the ball. They've got young playmakers on both sides of the ball, but it hasn't been their overall favor. They've, obviously turned over the ball a lot. They've gotten themselves down early and made some mistakes, but they still got some pretty decent play. And if I've seen anything, when it comes to this matchup against the Browns, it's not as always cut and dry as you think. Oh yeah, the Vikings by 1,000. No, this will definitely be a very grinding kind of contest, and really hope that the Vikings kind of put them away like they did with Cleveland's Ohio counterpart they did a couple weeks ago against Cincinnati, and just put the throttle down on them early and put them away before it gets too out of hand.
Well, yeah, and that's kind of the thing is like you can't look past this team. They have a very good defense. You look at Denzel Ward, you look at Greg Newsome, who have been very good in their defensive backs, and they got I think they got like an interception or two against Detroit. I fully haven't. I don't have the stats out in front of me, but I think this team, the way to beat this team is to do one thing: run that ball and make the right reads. Now, don't let Garrett go one-on-one. Like, if you're doing like a long drop back pass, you cannot afford to have him one-on-one with anyone. I mean, even with Darrisaw, I mean, that is tough in general. I mean, Darrisaw is one of the best tackle in the game. I mean, it's going to be a tough matchup either way. They got to do some chip blocks. Good news, Voldy, as well. I feel like no one's really been talking about this as much, but C.J. Ham, his practice window is open. It's sounding like he was a full participant, and that is big. That is very helpful for this issue with the offensive line. So you probably have Chip with him, Chip with Josh Oliver as well, maybe even T.J. Hawkinson, but that is who we need to focus and key on, and that is Myles Garrett, because if we let him go loose, you might as well chalk us up for a loss. Now, the current situation with the quarterback with the Browns, with Dillon Gabriel, they're going to do the same thing the Pittsburgh Steelers did. They're going to do the quick passes. They're going to get the ball out quick. They're going to do everything in their power to make it easy for Dillon Gabriel. Now, Quinshon Judkins, we can't forget about either. He has been playing very well. He's kind of emerged as the lead back for Cleveland right now as well. So our run defense was not good last game. Kenneth Gainwell, 99 yards and 2 touchdowns. Come on, Kenneth Gainwell. Good Lord.
Yeah.
That shouldn't happen, and they need to really shut down the run here against this team, or else they're going to get momentum, and can't have that happen. So the run defense has to be a lot better, especially on first down. So we will keep an eye out for that specifically. So, Voldy, real quick, Vikings win Sunday. What do you got?
Yes, I think the Vikings do win on Sunday. I think this will definitely be, the loss against Pittsburgh, a real shot in the arm here. It's going to be a full team effort in many aspects. I think when you throw in the fact that different quarterback situation, young rookie quarterback's going to want to establish himself, and I think that if the defense is going to be healthy enough, maybe we see a little bit of turnover help on our side. Maybe Harrison Smith gets back into the mix a little bit more defensively and can certainly wind a few things up in that direction. I think the Vikings need to win the turnover battle for sure and capitalize on those turnovers. If the defense does their part, the Vikings will win this game.
I want to see how the week goes with our injury report. I want to see some guys get back that we haven't really had these past few. I think the big thing is we need Jordan Mason to run the ball effectively. He only had, 67 yards? 57 yards. So we didn't run the ball really effectively. I want us to kind of do that and just help lighten the load a little bit for once. Our defense has to create some turnovers here against this guy. I mean, if they're going to result to the quick passes and stuff like that, force them to have to do these dropbacks and whatnot. Tee up for Grenard and Dallas Turner. He made a stupid mistake by punching DK Metcalf in the face mask and costed us some yards and whatnot. So he's got to play better and be smarter than that. But if Myles Garrett doesn't play, I don't see how the Vikings lose. I think they're going to win. Even if Garrett does play, I think they're going to make a point like, this dude will end us if we don't stop, if we don't, contain him. And I think they're going to win either way. It's going to be tough. I asked how it went for the Packers. I mean, it didn't go well. So, Alex says, Vikings win, defense carries, 4 sacks. I like that. I like that a lot.
I respect that.
I like that. Grenard hopefully gets a sack. Dallas Turner, something like that. Hargrave, whoever. I mean, we need all the help we can get at this point. So we'll see what happens in London with those Minnesota Vikings. All right, the talk of the town these past, was it yesterday she said this, or was it?
Yep.
Yeah, it was yesterday. Napheesacollier went off on those WNBA leadership, a.k.a. the WNBA commissioner, that being Cathyengelbert. You know, Napheesa is a very well-respected player in the W, and she has done a fantastic job, you know, kind of leading by example and whatnot, and she has, you know, had these conversations and whatnot. I'll kind of read kind of some of the things that she said. I won't go fully into it, but you guys kind of know the deal about this. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'll just read kind of some of the highlights of what she said, and it's pretty telling here, Voldy. She said, and again, her husband is also involved in the W as well, and you know, they do run the Unrivaled, the 3-on-3 in the off season as well. She says, I have the privilege of watching my husband run a league where he has to balance 100 different things at once. I won't pretend the job is easy, but even with all of that on his plate, he always reaches out to players when he sees an injury, whether it's Unrivaled or even during the WNBA season. That is what leadership looks like. Check. It's the human element. It's basic integrity. It's the bare minimum. Gosh, these ads keep popping up. This is so annoying. Sorry about that. Where was I? The element, basic integrity, and the bare minimum any leader should embody. But do you know who I haven't heard from? Kathy. Not one call, not one text. Instead, the only outreach has come from her number 2 telling my agent that she doesn't believe physical play is contributing to injuries. Okay, that's up for absurd statement already. I mean, that's bad. And then she says that is infuriating and the perfect example of the tone-deaf, dismissive approach that our leaders always seem to take. I've finally grown tired. For too long, I've tried to have these conversations in private. That's a key thing here, too. But it's clear that there's no intention of accepting there's a problem. The league has made it clear. It isn't about innovation. It isn't about collaboration. It's about control and power. I've earned this platform and paid the price to get here, and now I have a responsibility to speak on behalf of the fans and everyone in this league that deserves better. Oh, that is just... That's perfect. It's perfect. What she said is absolutely perfect. So, Voldy, what are your thoughts here on her comments? Obviously, we do know that Kathy did respond, and it was a... as Stephen A. said, I think today, it was a weak-ass response, as he said. Voldy, what are your thoughts on MVP talking about the WNBA leadership?
I mean, there's another story within itself, how she got shafted out of the MVP conversation and did not bring home the title, even though she was the clear-cut favorite. Unfortunately, it went to A'ja Wilson. Nothing against A'ja Wilson. Of course, she's playing in the finals. That probably has something to do with it. But as a whole, the comments from Napheesacollier really speak to how probably a majority of the players in the WNBA are feeling about the leadership when it comes to just, you know, making sure that everybody is in a line or at least on the same page. I know for the commissioner and her status is more about, you know, making sure that we can get more teams, growing the league, and of course just trying to get more money in her pocket and the league's pocket, as opposed to those that are currently trying to pave the way for those teams, for the growth of the game and development of this league to be a next top tier talent. You've seen a number of injuries this season, of course, one of them being, of course, the prized jewel of the WNBA, their shiny new toy in Caitlin Clark, who was shut down quite early on and didn't play in the All-Star game, didn't get the chance to play in the playoffs for the Fever, and, of course, a number of other notable players. Of course, Sophie Cunningham, who really came out of nowhere this season, at least notably, of course. But other numerous players that have gone down with injury or have seen a rise in physical injuries too with the physical play. League hasn't done anything about it. They have yet to put a kibosh to any sort of this, and I think maybe starting to see a little bit more towards the favoritism. We haven't even talked about how the Lynx got screwed out of playing against the Mercury at least 2 or 3 times. That's a different story within itself. And of course, now Coach Cheryl Reeve having to pay dividends for all that, for her comments towards the league and the officiating also. But for napheesacollier's comments, I am 1,000% on top and on board with it. Now we get to see how it's all going to play out with this summer, or at least the off season, and how the unrivaled league is going to, make that next bound and leap forward for the off season for these players.
A couple things. One of the things that I think is quite apparent here and very interesting to me is that she was having these conversations privately with Engelbert. And the fact that she has said a couple of these things that are actually pretty infuriating if you are a WNBA commissioner. She brought up the fact that Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, and Paige Buckets, should be grateful to the NBA for her endorsement deals, and that players should be on their knees thanking her for the new media rights deal. Are they driving the, what the league is right now? I mean, they've garnered a lot more interest. They're asking for, a lot more money, which is deservedly so, I will say. Mm-hmm. But the fact that you said they should be on their knees thanking her is absolutely positively absurd. Voldy, when she came out with her statement in response to MVP, she said something along the lines of, "I am disheartened by how Napheesa characterized our conversation and leadership, but even when our perspectives differ, my commitment to the players and to this work will never waver." Well, here's my response to that. You're full of shit. It's that simple. You have been caught numerous times about not, doing what needs to be done with these WNBA referees. Voldy, there was a reason why the zoners voted the WNBA referees as clowns of the year this past year. Mm-hmm. I mean, the amount of missed calls, the amount of favoring a certain team. This woman wore the New York skyline to that game, Game 5. And she didn't think, oh, you know what? I probably shouldn't wear this because it seems like I'm favoring that. You are an absolute fraud, Kathy. You are a fraud. And we know what you wanted, and I think there's more going on behind the scenes because now when people have spoken out, you've disciplined them. How dare they say this about us? How dare they say this about the WNBA? They're just giving you facts. Mm-hmm. They're just giving you facts. And Cheryl Reeve going out and calling out the referees, the leadership, and everything like that, she has the right to say so. And for you to suspend her that game, again, this is you taking advantage of that situation. And that is absolutely BS. And the fact that you didn't even reach out to Napheesa after she got, and again, what should have been a foul, that's a whole different, situation. I'm glad Reeve went right after the referee after that. But the fact that you didn't even say, I'm sorry about your injury or anything like that, hopefully you're doing okay. No. F that. You are a fraud. And you need to resign. Everyone's calling for her to resign. I think she should resign right now. Because if we were able to launch, like, somebody launch an investigation on this whole thing, I bet you she's driving this as, we want the Liberty to win, we're losing all this money and everything like that. And guess what? That's what they did. And I'm going to wear the New York skyline because I want to. You are so full of shit. She is an absolute fraud, and she is probably going to be on the top 10 infamous list. For sure. I shouldn't even put a boo on there. So, Voldy, what are your thoughts on the response of cathyengelbert there?
Pretty much just trying to place blame on the players and try to get them to go against each other as opposed to taking the outright blame of the situation, or at least trying to misdirect a little bit more. I mean, sadly, she is not going to take ownership of what's taken place and what's happened because of the fact she probably doesn't see anything wrong. Money talks and BS takes the bus, unfortunately. And it's not a private one. No, it's just City Metro bus there for that BS on top of it. Unfortunately, I don't see this changing anytime soon just because we've got new teams coming in. We've got expansion teams, even more exciting players coming up through the ranks in the next couple of years through college and into the WNBA. And who knows what these young players right now have 2-3 years down the road. And it's not going to change. And I feel like, unfortunately, we're in a situation where the Lynx are going to be receiving a lot of flack for a lot of things and probably are going to get screwed out of more contests going further. And you thought that this was going to be the year for them based off of the season that they had. And of course, the great players and the right moves that they made and just overall change in style of play from years past. But the league, being in control as much as it can, said, nope, we need to put a stop to this and make an example out of them. And now things are starting to come to the light, which will probably hurt the franchise going forward. But let's just hope that right thing is done is done very soon for the good of the game.
And it's not just the Lynx. It's all these WNBA teams that agree with everything that, I mean, Angel Reese, for goodness sake, for all the stuff that we call her out on, she was agreeing with napheesacollier. Caitlin Clark said no comment on the match because, you got to be careful. I understand that. Asia Wilson, like you said earlier, was in support of her too. And the fact that she says, people who complain about the refs are losers. Not when it's rigged. When we know it's rigged. Exactly. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, does she think that people are idiots or something? I mean, there's something wrong with this woman. And it's so bad how this woman needs to resign. I mean, this is absolutely, positively absurd. What she said to napheesacollier, she had enough and said, I'm calling you out. And guess what? Fee is kicking her ass right now. I mean, I'll be honest with you. So, shout out to napheesacollier. You have our support here on Minnesota Sports Live and the Zoners as well. This is absurd. And we said this last year, the whole situation. And again, this game against the Mercury, the series, I should say, was just not ideal. A lot of bad calls. And, it's just everyone hates Minnesota for some reason. Yep. Everyone does. I don't know why. We've never done anything to them. So, yeah, just wanted to talk about that. I mean, that's kind of the big thing. But, Voldy, let's talk about something that happened this past yesterday, I should say. I can't speak. Dollar Bill Kirill, baby, is back. Yes, 8 years. Oh, my goodness. And there we go. Oh, man. Now we're back. Sorry about that. Hello, darkness, my old friend. So, anyway, Voldy, Kirill the Thrill is back. Bear with me here. I don't know why this is doing
Here's
this,
the
but
story.
this is where we're at. So
I have a show called MinneZona.
Let's put it like this.
There
The
you go.
dollar bill's going out to Kirill. 8 years, $136 million. One of the largest in the largest in NHL history right now. He is very happy to be back in Minnesota. Voldy, how we feeling, man? I mean, this is great. We had to get some positive news. Billy G got it done. What are your thoughts on the signing? What do you got?
Yeah, with a week to go until the regular season starts, I had a feeling. Well, I shouldn't so much say as a feeling. I was hoping, praying and hoping, fingers crossed behind my back and everything, that this deal was going to get signed before the start of the regular season, because you knew as soon as the season started, Kaprizov was going to be focused on the year, trying to get this team to make that next step and get back in the playoff hunt. And thankfully, we've got them locked up, because with the way things are shaping up with the NHL and the salary cap, that number is only going up. I believe next year going to be jumping up a few $1 million, if not a sizable percentage. Because if you think Kaprizov is making a lot right now, could you imagine in a couple of years, or you could imagine next season, how much more it would be? Because I believe the cap is going to be jumping up another 20 million or something like that. It is absolutely crazy, because he's going to be making 17 million on that annual average value for that contract, when people are guessing about 15, maybe 16, jumping up to 17 too. Now we've got him locked up for these 8 years. Now let's seriously hope that the Wild are able to at least do something with it, and Kaprizov holds up his end of the bargain. Staying healthy is going to be the big thing right on top of it.
That's right. That's right. Dollar bill. I got my shirt ready. And also, Voldy, not only that.
What do you got?
Yeah.
Nice.
We got Kirill the Thrill. Yes, I will
Love it.
get this fixed here with our current situation. There is no one is joining us, but we wish. We do wish. But this is big, man. I mean, this is something that people were getting very nervous about. If they were going to get this done. And, Billy G was, he was a man of his word, and I give him credit, because I honestly thought for a little bit there that this wasn't going to get done. And I was just thinking, I'm like, man, this doesn't sound good. I feel like there's a lot. There is so many things that they have to iron out to make sure it's good for not only the organization, but Kirillkaprizov as well. And does he want to be here? And it sounds like he does. And I think they've built something of having a good nucleus with this team. I think there's a lot of upside with this current roster and whatnot. But now is the time to really start making some moves here. And not saying like they have to make acquisitions and things like that right now, but it's go time now. You got him back. It's time to put your money where your mouth is and get this whole thing done. So, 8 years, 17 mil. That's a lot. I mean, it is. Don't get me wrong, but this isn't like a 13-year contract that happened to really bite the Wild in the ass, per se.
Not once, but twice.
But twice, yes. To name a few. But I think, they have the cap space. They can, get this figured out. So that's the hope. That's the hope. And that is something that I think eventually the Minnesota Wild will figure out, as we go on here. So, and don't mind me. I'm just trying. We're doing the bunch. I don't know why it's not giving me the option to have my own screen and then put you in it as well. Just bear with me here. This is pissing me off. Don't know why it keeps doing that, but I am getting very upset at this thing. Anyway, let's move on. I'll figure it out here in a sec. Now that this is done, Voldy, the season's about to start here very, very soon. What do you want to see here this year for the Minnesota Wild? I mean, what is kind of the main thing this season? I think this season, get to the playoffs, win a first round playoff game, for goodness sake. So that's my thing. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, obviously, you throw in Kaprizov finally getting that deal signed, so that's out of the way. You still have Marco Rossi. You still have Matt Boldy on top of it. A lot of youth coming into the year. Of course, you do have the Olympic break thrown into the mix, so see how that's going to play out for this young team to at least be able to get some of that rest once that does come around in February. Goaltending on top of it. It's always about, the goaltending with me and the Wild too. You lose Marc-Andre Fleury, but that's probably an overall improvement just because we needed to cut that cord and just get it over with. Gustafsson hasn't been bad. He took a bulk of the starts last year and he played pretty well, scored a goal on top of it too. So I am definitely a little bit cautiously optimistic as usual when it comes to Minnesota sports, and the Wild are the same now that we've got a lot of the loose ends figured out. Let's see what they can do with it once we get started here next week in the regular season.
A couple things. Alex throwing this out there. I don't know how they're going to pull it off, especially since the Wild have to continue to play Suter and Parisi for 4 more years. No, it's over. I thought it was over. Isn't it over, Voldy? Or am I
pretty sure
something?
It's over? Because they signed in 2011, 13 years. It should be done.
Yeah. They don't have that on the books anymore. So I think we're good.
Thank God. Why Suter would be getting paid by 3 teams right now.
Jeez, it'd be insane.
He did last year, unfortunately.
He did.
He's getting paid by 3 teams, yep.
Yeah. Alex says call Money Munson for technical support.
No.
Okay, let's be honest. He is the last person I would ask to give technical support. Let's be honest. I don't know. Maybe he is good with tech.
Munson's the type of guy who couldn't rip his way out of a wet paper bag. He'd lose an ass-kicking contest to a one-legged man. Just saying.
He is a Ricky Rubio apologist. I mean, the guy is just, he's a nightmare, man. You know, it's just insane to me. But anyway, no matter. It's all good. We are going to figure what the hell's going on, and it's not doing what I want it to. I am about to throw this thing out the window. Anyway, no, I'm not, because we got to do a show. Anyway, that's going to do it for Tater Tot Hot Take this time around. We will get this figured out here for ARA. But like we said, no special segment this time around. It was good talking a lot about, it's all Minnesota sports, all Tater Tot Hot Take as usual, but a lot more. ARA, we hit off with some new, or not, well, sort of, kind of new, not really, but maybe a little bit different. Old is new Minnesota edition. Wolves got new jerseys. The Wild have the, throwback jerseys as well. We'll talk about that. See which one we like the best. And the U.S. Can't get it done against Team Europe. It's tale as old as time. Don't know why, but, Team Europe's good, man. They're very good for golf. And we got the Browns benching Flacco. Is Shedeur going to start at some point if Dillongabriel doesn't play well? We will talk about that. And then to round things off, the Rays finally sold is a new stadium in their horizon here as well. I would assume so because they kind of need one at this point. So with that being said, let's get it going. What's up? Absurd or approved?
It's time for everyone's favorite segment, Absurd or Approved.
All right, let's get this fixed first so that you can see our beautiful faces. That's not what I wanted, but that's what I wanted. Hey, Matt and Paul, no black screen on the left. Fam. Yeah, so we are back up. So now, Voldy, why don't you, it's time for Absurd or Proof, so why don't you rattle them off for us, please?
Well, we start off here in the great state of Minnesota as the two franchises with seasons just right around the corner are throwing things back circa 20 years ago. Plus, as the Minnesota Timberwolves and the Minnesota Wild will unveil new uniforms, well, I guess maybe old yet new at the same time. One of the big things that fans have been clamoring for when you are a Timberwolves fan is to bring back the trees. And that is exactly what A-Rod and Mark Lowry have done, bringing back the classic look from 1998 to 2008, the Black Trees Classic Edition, which will be worn 21 times at home this year, plus 7 times on the road for a full 28 games this regular season. 21 times at home. Very auspicious number choice for that. Why not 20? Why not 22? More on that here, hopefully, in a moment. And in celebration of the 25th season of the return of hockey to the state of hockey, the Minnesota Wild unveiled an alternate jersey that will be worn 4 times throughout the regular season, starting, of course, Tuesday, October 28th, as they host the Winnipeg Jets, a nod to the original home uniform that was worn at the start of the 2000-2001 season. For the start of the season, the original Wild script and font with gold accents on the white sweater, one of the all-time tops in a Wild sweater that will be available for those to purchase on top of it. Now, between the two uniforms, there's been some good times and maybe some not so good times, but we only like to remember the good times here on MinneZona Sports Live. Is it absurd or approved? With the return of these two classic uniforms, these iconic jerseys will garner success for the upcoming seasons for the Wolves and the Wild.
Well, I think we'd love to have that nonetheless, and I'd give it my stamp of approval just to start us off right away here. I think this is not only good for sales because a lot of us, including myself and Voldy too, that are big fans of those jerseys. I love the tree. I mean, it takes us back to those Timberwolves of the early 2000s, 2003, 2004 to be kind of specific. And I think those are probably one of the top jerseys I'm really looking forward to. And especially KG's number being retired. Thank God that is happening.
Okay, so is that confirmed as real? Because I was looking for much more. I've seen about 5 or 6 posts from like Bleacher Report and a couple other ones. Some of these maybe reputable, not so reputable sources saying that he's getting his number retired, but I've yet to see it actually break on like CBS or ESPN or anything. So I wasn't sure if that was real or not.
I think it is, but I don't think there hasn't been an official announcement per se.
Right.
I feel like. Okay. I feel like I think it is this year because Glenn's gone. He don't have to worry about Glenn.
Bye-bye.
And now you have A-Rod, Lowry, and the guy that what was his name? The guy that came from the Panthers, Voldy, Florida Panthers. Do we remember his name? Crap, no. I can't remember. Anyway.
Stu McGrew. I don't know.
Stu McGrew. Or Joe Bag of Donuts. Yeah. Anyway, I think that I'm looking forward to. Now, you want to talk about nostalgia. The old Minnesota Wild jerseys. Voldy, I remember looking at those awesome Marion Gaborik Jays. Those were good. Manny Fernandez as well, your guy.
My very first Wild jersey was a Manny Fernandez green jersey, and I really wish I would have kept that because now I'm just like, I love me some fan back in the day, Manny Fernandez.
So, I mean, this is going to be awesome. I mean, it's a lot of nostalgia with that, and you love to see it. Voldy, will you be getting a jersey at some point before I?
Oh God, I would love to. I'd love to get a nice Kirillkaprizov, maybe Matt Boldy, maybe even Brock Faber. Even though he's a Gopher, I could look past it because man, those jerseys just bring back so many memories. I mean, Manny Fernandez. You've got Brian Rolston, the Boogeyman as well, Derek Bogart. I mean, of course, Marion Gabrick on top of it. I mean, so many great memories of that. I mean, if we're going to go the other way, there's only one guy that I'm getting in a Timberwolves in the trees, and it's our tribal chief. Acknowledge
your tribal chief, Nasreed.
Nasreed.
I think he's wearing a headband this season.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he is.
He was at media day wearing a headband. I'm like, that's a great look. That's a great look for our tribal chief, Nasreed.
Yep.
But Voldy's got my stamp of approval. I think they're going to win the games in those uniforms. I'm telling
Absolutely.
you. I mean, it's the history and everything like that. So stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
I mean, definitely, it's got my stamp of approval on top of it. Any way that the Wild can sneak in a little bit of something, even in the short history that they do have in the league, 25 years. It's hard to believe that the team has been around in such a short amount of time, but still has been such impactful in this state. I am definitely looking forward to seeing them in action and definitely want one of them for sure. It's my stamp of approval as well. I just wish the Wild would be able to wear them more. Only 4 times. Bit of a disappointment. Maybe, maybe something else here in the near future. But you know what? Some things are good in small doses, I guess.
We like it. Munson and Alex actually Snapchatted me, and Munson says, and I quote here, I know Tate's asleep, so we can say this now. I heard you're talking shit. Yeah, I was talking shit. I was.
Yes, we are.
And you know what, Cole? What are you going to do about it? You ain't going to do nothing. Nothing. Bring it.
Not a thing.
Not a damn thing. Alex, though, says, need a Rudy Gogurt jersey. Hey, if that's how you want your jersey, I mean, go right ahead, man. I mean, do you. Oh, man. Too funny. All right, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head out to the course, of course, over the weekend, the Ryder Cup taking place here on home soil, but home cooking was not what was good enough for the U.S. against Team Europe, as Team Europe held off Team USA in the Ryder Cup to win back-to-back Ryder Cups, of course, winning a road Ryder Cup as well. A disappointing outing for the U.S. squad led by Captain Keegan Bradley, as, of course, on the other side for Team Europe, certainly holding things down, led by the likes of Shane Lowry, Rory McIlroy, of course, many other notables. While you look on the other side, Team USA, Bryson DeChambeau, Scotty Scheffler, Colin Morikawa, among many others, did not get the result that a lot of people were hoping for, and it's unfortunate with it being played at Bethpage Black, a thought many of which was going to be an advantage, especially for Captain Keegan Bradley, who decided to sit things out this go-around with the Ryder Cup after just missing it last year as being a player, a playing captain. Not very conducive in order for the team to win. The U.S. had won 5 of the first 6 matches and eventually put pressure on the Europeans in the final day, but unfortunately it was not enough, even with a late rally from the U.S., to overcome the odds on the final day of competition. And it's sad to see, especially with the number 1 golfer in the world, Scotty Scheffler, in the mix as a whole, just not enough. With all the success the Europeans have had in recent years, of course, the last 2 Ryder Cups, 2 in the last 4 years, and on the PGA Tour as a whole, is it absurd or approved? Will the U.S. be able to figure things out for the next Ryder Cup coming up overseas in 2027?
Oh, it's been tough for the U.S. I mean, I just feel like Team Europe just really has for lack of a better term, has their crap together, man. I mean, they really have played well, and the U.S. really hasn't figured it out. I think what it's going to come down to is guys really trying to step up and show, like, hey, we're not going to let them push us around. And they had an awful first day, from what I recollect, and it just did not. It did not go well. And when you start off slow against a team against a Europe team that has been battle tested, and they're not going to, let you get off easy, and they didn't. I mean, they kicked the butt. Rory, I don't know. Did you see some of these clips, Voldy? And Zoners, let us know if you did too. I mean, there were a lot of heckling. There's a lot of heckling going on with Rory, and Rory was chirping back and stuff. I really enjoyed it, to be honest with you. But I just think that the rally was good, but you got to start off a lot hotter than you did, because if you at least would have kept neck and neck with them at the beginning, I bet they would have won. So I think the U.S. has to, hammer home the next time this happens that they got to start fast. They got to kick it into high gear and, get ahead of them right away. Because if you get behind, they're not going to let you back in. I mean, it's that simple. Alex says he kicked someone out for calling him the F slur. Oh, I didn't know that. I did not know that. I did not see that. So, to answer your question, I'm glad they took care of that, because that's not cool. I'll give it my stamp of approval. Screw it. It's USA. I gotta show love to our USA group. It's like, guys, you just got to put it together. You got to start fast. You guys have the talent. You got Scotty. You got you got Bradley. You got some of these guys that have been, that they can compete with them, and they've shown they can. Just gotta get on them right away. So not great heckling, Alex says as well. So Voldy, what do you think?
I think the first thing that Team USA needs to do for the 2027 Ryder Cup, team captain has to be Bryson DeChambeau. I think you should throw a shot across the bow in the world of golf saying, we are not here to play nice. We are here on the world stage, and we need the face of YouTube golf, Bryson DeChambeau, to say, we will not go quiet into the night. We will fight to our very last stroke, and we will sink all the putts and bombs over Baghdad on the par 5. We're driving over the water, and we're driving to your mom's house, because we are going to drink your beer, we are going to take your women, and we are going to take your Ryder Cup for sure, because that is the first means of business for Team USA for the next Ryder Cup. DeChambeau is team captain, and you not only ramp up the heckling, you get it to be kind of a main factor in your playing. Of course, you're still going to get great golf. You get some of the best golfers. You get Scotty. You get Colin Morikawa. You get maybe some of those guys over on the Live Tour as well. Koepka, if he wants to play on top of it. I mean, you get some of those guys into the mix there. But, we need a little bit of edge. We need to stop playing so nice when it comes to these international, competitions. We need to get nasty, and we need the world to remember why the rest of the world hates us is because we need to prove how American we are by ramming it down your throat, basically. When it comes to any sort of competition, we need to win, and we need to do it ugly, and we need to do it the American way. I think USA will definitely try and figure it out. Stop being so nice. It's time to get mean. It's time to take the gloves off, and it's time to play dirty.
I'm just here so I won't get fined.
That's the thing. Don't want to get fined and whatnot. But, let's get it done. Let's get DeChambeau, I like to call him, DeChambeau. But, another guy to keep in mind, Shooter McGavin. He's also a very shooter. I
Team
think
mascot.
would be good. let's go. Yeah. Anyway, next one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of the NFL, and initially this conversation was going to take place about the future of the Cleveland Browns quarterback situation, but a further update happening today. Well, and the second most recent podcast episode of the New Heights podcast with, of course, Travis and Jason Kelsey, they had Deion Sanders on the show. Of course, father of a third-string quarterback for the Cleveland Browns, Sanders, and he basically came out and said, when it's time, be patient and be ready. Talking about what advice he has for his son. You got to be ready when it's time. But when it's time, you're going to know, and it's coming up. I got a prediction. I ain't telling nobody. I got a feeling when it's going to go down, but it's going down this year. He's going to get a shot. Basically saying Deion throwing out that Shedeur will get a start here for the upcoming season at some point. Now, that was last week. This week, and as of course earlier today, the Cleveland Browns made an announcement that they are benching their quarterback in Joe Flacco and turning to backup quarterback Dillongabriel. That's right, Dillongabriel will be starting this Sunday against the Minnesota Vikings in London, with Shedeur remaining at the quarterback number 3 spot. Joe Flacco will serve as the backup for the upcoming contest. With the Excuse me. Oh, goodness gracious. Head coach Kevin Stefanski, goodness gracious, made the decision to be, quote, best for the football team in benching Flacco to start Dillongabriel. Flacco has started this year, the first 4 games, throwing 6 interceptions this year, and including of which were 2 in the first half in a 34-10 loss to the Detroit Lions. Now, all that thrown into the mix, of course. Now with the benching of Flacco, you have Dillongabriel getting the starting nod coming up here on Sunday against our Vikings early in jolly old London, England. Is it absurd or approved with the benching of Flacco? Will Tater Sanders get a chance to start a game this season for the Browns?
I was thinking about this because, there's been a lot of talk about Shedeur and how they gone about it. Real quick. Joe, it's time. It's time, man. Like, this isn't getting any better for you per se. I mean, you still got a pretty good arm, but listen, man, when Father Time's knocking at your door, like,
be a coach. Be a coach.
Yep, you're right. Josh
McCown.
McCown.
Great for Josh McCown.
Yep, we're on the
Josh
same page.
McCown started a game when Carson Wentz was a backup with the Eagles at one point. That was like 3, 4, 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
It was a playoff game, too. It's crazy.
It's time. So anyway, yeah, for Gabriel, like we said earlier, I think it's just going to come down to, short passes, getting out of the pocket maybe a little bit, everything like that. But to Shedeur, it seems to me that, I get that the media can get to you. Trust me. Look at us, right, with Minnesota. But
how you doing?
Rex Ryan it was very critical. And the thing is like, I think ESPN just tells them, all right, you need to go off on this guy and say that he sucks and this and that. That's kind of how it goes.
We haven't talked enough about Shedeur lately. Let's generate something.
And so that's what they're doing. But I will say, Voldy, I'm disappointed in Shedeur. I will say it from this perspective. Because he, when the announcement came down about Dillongabriel, being the starter, he, was acting like a mime and explaining his thoughts and stuff like that. I think that was very immature, and that's not going to win a lot of brownie points for yourself. But I think, from what I hear, it was in response to Rex Ryan. Now, the best way to handle that type of situation is not to say anything. Mm-hmm. If he would have just said, he was, I'm happy for Dylan and everything like that. I'm going to be, help him out best I can. I'm going to learn, et cetera, then no one would sit back and criticize him. But now that he's doing this right now, it's making it worse on him. And the immaturity that this kid has is just awful. And there is a reason why he fell so far, is because of that type of attitude. Now, he hasn't proven anything yet. I mean, until he's under center and until he starts, then you can make that determination. I think people are sleeping on Gabriel. I think he played pretty well in that preseason game against the Eagles. I know it's second string, third stringers, everything like that, but still, I mean, if he's making plays, that's good. You want to see that from your quarterback, and they have a pretty good offensive line and whatnot. But I wouldn't sleep on Gabriel, man. I think he's got something a little bit, but I am disappointed in how he handled that situation with Rex Ryan. The best thing to do in that situation, you haven't proven anything in the NFL yet. Don't say anything, man. That's just that. But again, this is how Deion was back in the day as well, and that's kind of how he's approaching it. But he is hurting himself by doing something as stupid as that. And I think that's what's hurting him. So I think it's absurd. I don't think he's going to start. I think there is a real problem that is already brewing in Cleveland, and unfortunately, we love Kevin Stefanski. I think he's been a great coach, and especially here with Minnesota. But I think he might lose his job to this, and I think it's very sad at this point because the Browns are just a terrible organization. Let's be honest. So yeah, I think it's absurd. I think Gabriel's going to be the guy rest of the way, unless he gets hurt and he gets in. But I'll go with Gabriel. Voldy, what do you got?
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack here with these two situations overall. Of course, with the benching of Flacco to Gabriel, it's the natural progression. You want to see what you have out of your young quarterback, especially being the fact that, you're looking for some sort of positivity. Sure, you got to win against the Packers, which was awesome to see for the Browns. And beyond that, it hasn't gone well. 1-3 now, I believe, on the season for the Browns, and they're looking for any sort of momentum to go their way. Why not start the rookie quarterback when you're overseas? And if it goes well, hey, it's great. If it doesn't, okay, well, he's a rookie quarterback. What'd you expect out of it? And on the other side with Shedeur, I think with the comments that are thrown out by Rex Ryan, by Deion Sanders as well, I mean, up until that point, there really hadn't been a whole lot to report on when it came to Shedeur beyond training camp going into the regular season, which I thought, do it again. Oh, goodness. Browns just really sucked the energy right out of you, for sure. And when it comes down to it, I think no news on the part of Shedeur was good. Now he's thrown himself into a bit of a cycle yet again with the miming of his answers to reporters, with the change in the quarterback for coming up on Sunday. And that may hurt him down the road because barring an injury or barring, the team has got 2 wins going into the final, has got 2 or 3 wins going into the last week of the season. He might not see the field the rest of the year at that point, and that's going to hurt him long term. I think the reason that the Browns have kept both quarterbacks is because if you would think you've got at least a 50-50 chance of winning them being the guy for sure, beyond the 40-plus-year-old quarterback that's definitely on the back end of his career and is living on borrowed time, you would think at least one of these two guys would be the face of the franchise, or at least being able, somewhat competent enough to run a team. And oh yeah, by the way, Deshaun Watson is still there if we ever see him on a football field ever again. I think will Shedeur get a chance to start a game this year? I'm going to say no. I think it's absurd. I think right now he kind of dug himself into a hole, but would I be surprised, week 17 comes rolling around, week 18 or what have you, and they've got 3 wins. There's no need to do anything drastic. Just throw him out there, see what he can do, and maybe you got something to look forward to for 2026 as a whole.
All I got to say to Shedeur and Rex Ryan is this.
Dummy. Yeah.
I'm sorry. It's just, it's bad. You can't be, I get it. Like, Rex Ryan just says stuff because they need content and everything like that. But, like, Shedeur did not help his case there. He just didn't. So, all right, last one, Voldy.
Well, we head to the world of Major League Baseball as many teams closed up the regular season heading towards the playoffs. The Tampa Bay Rays wrapped up a season in Florida with the sale of their franchise to a group led by Florida-based real estate developer Patrick Zalewski from the previous ownership regime, as Major League Baseball owners announced the approval and unanimously approved the deal last week, the terms of which have yet to be fully announced. Of course, this also coming off a season where the Rays did lose the ability to play at Tropicana Field due to the hurricane that rolled right through Tampa, Florida, and wiped out a majority of the project that was the Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg. That was wiped out, of course, with the proposal in costs in repair. Then that forced them to play at the spring training facility of the New York Yankees, just down the road from their facility, which was weird to say the least. But now, with the sale of the team to a new ownership group, the group, of course, which does include a couple of other notable names, is expected to restart the search for a new ballpark. The Rays in March withdrew from a $1.3 billion project to construct a new ballpark adjacent to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, of course, citing, of course, weather-related and delays in costs for the proposal of that. Now, with all that being thrown into it, a start of a new search for a ballpark facility for the Tampa Bay Rays will only throw things into a further loop for the Tampa Bay Rays for the 2026 season coming up. Is it absurd or proves? Will the Rays remain in Tampa if a new stadium isn't built? Because I'm assuming as well that things are looking towards the positive side of them returning to Tropicana Field. I don't know. Again, I'm throwing in as no news is good news in that regard.
Well, it must be nice to have a new ownership group. I mean, congrats. Congrats. So nice. God dang it. Anyway, but I think they got to make one in Tampa. I think that's kind of the main thing. But, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. And, you know, Voldy, I'm sure you probably have more knowledge of this than I do. But there's not a whole lot of fans in Tampa for the Rays, are there? Yeah. So I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility of moving the team. And, Montreal, it's still open. They still want to make it happen. They still want to do it, Voldy. So I think if they're not able to get the stadium, I don't think they're going to remain in Tampa. I think it's I think it's got my stamp of approval. If they can't get that done, they're in trouble. So I think the Rays are possibly. I mean, it possibly could be gone, but I'm leaning more towards them staying in Tampa because I feel like they've kind of got the ball rolling on that. Now, if things change and they're not able to get an agreement or something, I think you have to consider moving the team. So I think keeping an eye on the situation, but it sounds like they'll be back in Tampa and everything like that. Sadly, as we have talked about before. But yeah, I think it's got my stamp of approval. I think if they can't get that new stadium in Tampa, they're going to move. So, it's got my stamp of approval. Voldy, what do you think?
Yeah, I think right now the ownership group wants to get as much of a new stamp on the franchise as they can, and that's going to be a new stadium as a whole. But with there also being, of course, a couple of vested parties, including of which the ownership does have control in a couple of other franchises, or at least at the minor league level, they wouldn't be surprised if they maybe move somewhere else. But I'm sure that there are some people that would say keeping Tampa in Tampa not only is good for the franchise, but of course for those that want to come to Rays games, because Tampa, especially coming in the summer, is definitely a bit of a destination place, because it's never a shortage of Twins fans when Tampa comes rolling around. Of course, their spring training facilities not too far away. Of course, anybody that plays in the same division as Tampa, New York, Boston, Toronto, Baltimore as well, they definitely wouldn't mind going down to Florida for a weekend series, or maybe even a midweek series, given the time of year that baseball is played. Now, if they do get a new stadium, and I would certainly hope that it would be sometime in the near future, where are they going to be in the meantime? Are they going to return back to Tropicana Field for a little bit, or are they going back to the minor league facility for another season or two plus? We need to get these teams away from these minor league parks. It's embarrassing. It's not good for the teams as a whole. Like, you couldn't really throw Toronto in the mix when they had to play in Buffalo. The border was shut down during COVID. That was what it was. But you got the A's in Sacramento playing at a AAA ballpark, most likely be playing at a AAA ballpark in Vegas, if and when that ever comes through. And you had Tampa playing at the Yankees AAA facility, not even their own AAA facility. That's even more embarrassing on top of it. I mean, are they going to move? I would say, is it absurd or prove will they remain in Tampa if a stadium isn't built? I would say that they would. I think this team is just not smart enough to make the move, because, I mean, they're too darn stubborn, and lo and behold, they'll find a way to make the playoffs and make it to the World Series again, because it's just utterly ridiculous how they find ways to do that with absolutely no good players on their team, ever.
And somehow they beat the Twins. Don't know how,
Yeah.
Don't know why.
They had a pedophile on their team a couple years ago. Are we just going to gloss over that?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No. Ish.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew.
So that's going to do it for A-Ray this time around. Great job, Voldy, this time around. And we got Shield shout-outs here, so let's get it going with some Shield shout-outs.
Shield shout-outs.
All right, Shield, what do we got for Shield shout-outs tonight?
Well, we do have to wind down the show, especially with Shield shout-outs here. It's been a tough week plus here for my family, and especially the Two's family. That's my wife, Sarah's family as a whole. For those that didn't hear, or those that are just finding out, Sarah's dad, Jim Two, sadly passed away back on September 22nd after battling cancer. He had gotten diagnosed back in July, fought through it, had chemo, but unfortunately, his big heart just wasn't even able to keep up with his big love for his life. Whether it was him being a farmer, something that he was called to be, his family, his community, the Litchfield community in many, many ways, and of course his two grandsons, Case and Tate. The world is definitely a smaller place without Big Jim in it, and that's not just because of his huge hands. Big hands Jim had. I'm thankful that I'm definitely able to be part of the Two's family and the two little boys who got to spend loads of time with their papa. Big Jim will certainly be missed, and certainly want to say thank you to everybody that has reached out, has been more than helpful, and are being with us, getting us through this very difficult time as a whole. We sincerely do appreciate your love and support and helping us remember Jim, and those that were able to make it to the visitation, the funeral as well, and just being able to help us all out through everything has been fantastic. And we are surely going to miss Jim, definitely, for sure. And that's going to do it for Shield Shoutouts this week.
Yes, well said, Voldy. My thoughts and prayers will go out to you guys. Obviously, cancer sucks, and honestly, my aunt had it. People I know, it's just not good. It just sucks. So, thanks for putting that out there. the thing is it just sucks, and we're all here and all in support of you guys. So
appreciate it.
With that being said, let's bring this up here. We got something interesting. Let's when is the Money Munson collab? Need to mark my calendar. When you ask that question, you should be asking him, not me, not Voldy, him. He's got to talk to me. He's like, I got to get on the show. Well, you got to tell me.
Season's only a couple weeks away.
This dude goes and he's like, I got trivia tonight. I got volleyball league thing, whatever. Dude, I've given you the opportunity. Hop on. We'd love to do that with you. So, anyway, just we'll get him on. It'll happen. It's going to happen, Alex. Don't worry. We will let you know when it does. So, with that being said, guys, get those picks in. It's very important to get those picks in coming up here. The game, I think this week, I can't remember what it was. It was something, I can't remember what it is. We'll look it up. We'll figure it out. But anyway, get those picks in before the Thursday night game. We will keep you in tune with that as well, and go from there. And congratulations to Rick's dad, who won the week of
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. Thank you. Yes, thank you. 2 weeks ago, he's got that going. He will be getting the orange hat. We'll get that out to you as soon as possible. We'll go from there. And the gift this week is, I believe, Foldy, you have right next to you, I think, hopefully. Yeah, there it is. That
one of these new guys.
is one hat that you're going to want to get this time. Get those picks in. You can get that hat. There are a lot of opportunities to win surprises, and this week is one of those. So, but if you're like, maybe I'll just support the show. We love the guys. We got Sweatpants. The fall is coming up. I mean, it's a little hot this weekend. Next week it's supposed to be a little cooler. Get those Sweatpants. Get those winter get those winter caps as well. And we got the tumblers to keep your drinks hot, cold, whatever. Shirts, stickers, hats. We got plenty of hats. I mean, it's insane how many hats that we have. So you guys can check all of those out. We have those ready to roll. If you would like some, we will get you set up. So, shout out to National Fleet Graphic, Crown Rental, Tyler Knutson for the stickers. And make sure you check out W2 Performance, our guy Wilwertel doing his thing, www.w2performance.com. Make sure you check out our boy. And the Brotherly Ballers podcast, Tyler Hermann, Jack Vickers. They've got new episodes weekly during the season. Make sure you check them out. And TLS Performance, Troy Stoudemire Jr. doing his thing. Shout out to him as well. And before we get to the next thing, if you've been on the social medias, MinneZona took on the Popcorn Bucket List crew, or Omni Entertainment as well. Now, Voldy, we had a good lead. We did. The thing is that when it got to boxing, it ended the thing is they won golf, they won bowling, we won baseball. Curve Doctor hit a walk-off home run.
That's my dog right there.
Let's go. You should see. I think you've probably seen the clip. It is hilarious, to say the least. So it was awesome. He represented MinneZona. Awesome. It was just great. Tennis, we kicked ass. Mitch was very upset, and that was enjoyable. So that was it. So, yeah, shout out to Popcorn Bucket List, Nick Dahlhoff. And guess who was running the camera? Yes, Ryne. Myhrberg got to chat with Rhino. Oh, it's so good being with those guys, chatting with Rhino. Shout out to Omni Entertainment, Popcorn Bucket List. Make sure you check out the 2 episodes. It's in 2 parts. There's part 1, part 2. Make sure you check out both parts. It is a blast. There are some awesome things that Nick had an awesome chip in that was amazing as well. And Mitch, we gave Mitch hell for being a Bears fan. So make sure you tune in and whatnot. So shout out to those guys. Make sure you check out their episodes. weekly as well. So that is going to do it for episode 254. And before we log off here, Alex says, need to see Money Munson in some of those sweatpants. Okay.
Kind of weird.
It's kind of weird, but do you want sweatpants, Alex? I mean, we got some. We can give them to you, but that's kind of weird. But at the same time, like, what's going on? Anyway, Skull Vikes, go Gophers, the whole kit and caboodle. We'll keep you updated on anything with our Minnesota teams and our merch, as well as pick 'em. Get those picks in. So, without further ado, as always, folks, keep in the zone.
Holla.
Thank you for watching MinneZona Sports Live. Join us Wednesdays at 7 p.m. for live show broadcast. And as Voldy likes to say, follow us on all the socials medias.